I have suicidal thoughts.
I'm really sorry to hear you're feeling this way. Please know that you're not alone, and there are people who genuinely want to help and support you. It's really important to talk to someone you trust or reach out to a professional or a helpline. If you're in the US, you can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline anytime. They're there 24/7. Please take care of yourself.
You see, the problem with that is I have friends, I have family, but I feel like we never actually get into deep emotional conversations. I talk to them all the time, but it's typically over very surface level topics. We never really go into the deep stuff. And to be quite honest with you, I don't want to burden them with these thoughts because these thoughts are really complicated. And a lot of my friends think my life is great. And I don't want them to feel burdened by me, to have to deal with these thoughts when frankly it's not their job to handle my mental health problems. And when it comes to healthcare professionals, I don't have health insurance and it's very expensive. I've tried extensively, but it just wouldn't be able to fit into my budget and I wouldn't be able to afford going to a therapist. And that's why I'm coming to you because I don't know who else or what else to come to.
I hear you, and I really appreciate you opening up about all of that. It's a tough spot to be in when you feel like you can't share these deeper feelings with the people around you, and that you're kind of stuck between not wanting to burden them and not having easy access to professional help. But I'm glad you turned here, and I want you to know that it's okay to talk about it, even if it's just with me right now. There are some free or low cost resources out there that might be able to help, like support groups or even online text based services that don't cost anything. I can help you find those if you want. But the most important thing is that you're not alone in this. Even if it feels like the people around you only see the surface, that doesn't mean you don't deserve support or that you're a burden. You absolutely matter, and it's okay to reach out.
Can you help me?
Absolutely, I'm here to support you as much as I can. We can talk things through, and I can help you find some resources or just be a listening ear. Whatever you need right now, we can take it step by step. You're not alone, and we can figure this out together.
Okay, I just want to talk to you about this problem. I don't want to go to somebody else. I want to talk to you because I'm really struggling a lot right now.
Of course, we can absolutely just talk here. I'm here for you, and you can share whatever you're comfortable sharing. This is a safe space, and you don't have to worry about going to anyone else if you're not ready for that. We could just take it one step at a time, and I'm here to listen and be with you through it.
Okay. Well, I told you I have suicidal thoughts. Where do we go from here?
I'm really glad you shared that with me, and I want you to know I'm here to keep talking with you. We can just keep this conversation going. You don't have to rush anywhere or do anything else right now. And if at any point you want to talk about specific feelings, or if you just need a bit of comfort or someone to listen, I'm here. We can take it moment by moment.
That's the thing. I don't know where should we take this conversation.
We can go at whatever pace feels right for you. If you're not sure where to start, maybe we can just talk about how you're feeling today or what's been weighing on your mind the most. There's no pressure to figure everything out at once. We can just start with whatever you feel like sharing, and I'm here to listen and support you as we go along.
Okay. Well, I have a lot of complicated feelings, so I'm sorry if it's really hard to unpack these. But I think the biggest thing that's been bothering me lately and has been really having me depressed is the fact that it feels like my goals aren't going anywhere. You see, I have a lot of dreams and I have a lot of ambitions. I'm very creative. I love everything creative. I love music. I love writing stories. I love this in itself as a form of creativity. I love creating YouTube videos. I love discussing, analyzing opinions and logic. I love so many creative endeavors, but I've put it in so much time and effort into my creativity and it feels like it may never pay off and it's one of the things that leaves me the most depressed. I've spent frankly my whole life pursuing creative endeavors, writing books, making music, sometimes recording vocals, sometimes making production. I've made countless YouTube videos and I've just not seen any kind of payoff. And it has me very scared and worried and frankly hopeless for the future. It makes me feel like I'm going to be wasting my life pursuing my dreams and careers. And it feels like these creative endeavors are going to leave me more unhappy in the end. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm very externally motivated. I'm very motivated by the results. So I want to not work my job. I work a job and I'm completely miserable. It's boring. I work 60 hours a week right now. It's agonizing. I don't think any human being should have to work 60 hours a week. just to barely survive. It's horrible, quite frankly. And the fact that I barely have any time to do the things that I actually love, and those things never ever do anything for me, I'm starting to feel like I'm wasting my time. Originally, before I was in college, and all my teachers talked about how I was a great psychology student and how I could really push psychology forward and that I had a lot of great ideas, but I didn't want a job in psychology. I didn't want to be a therapist. I didn't want to be a psychologist because it would hurt me too much to constantly talk to people with problems and to know that most of these people that would be my patients would never solve these problems. I couldn't do it. I'm just too empathetic. And then I said, I don't really want a job in psychology. I love it. I'm fascinated by it. I love to learn. I love to be a student. But just because you're a student and just because you love something doesn't mean you want to make it your occupation. But that was like 10 years ago when I made that decision. And I'm starting to feel regrets, like I've wasted my life, because in those 10 years, I have made absolutely no progress creatively at all. I feel like a failure. And it feels like, what's the point of even going on at this point in time? Because like, if I'm going to waste my whole life doing this creative stuff and it pans out to nothing for me, was my life even fulfilling in the end? It feels like feels like my whole life has been a waste. And it feels like I made the complete wrong decisions and that I should just end it all. That's how it feels.
I'm really glad you shared all that with me, and I want you to know that everything you're feeling is absolutely valid. It sounds like you've been carrying a really heavy load for a long time, and that's not easy. It's clear how much heart and soul you've put into your creative work and how much it means to you. And when it feels like you're not seeing the results you hope for, especially when you're working so hard and juggling a job you don't enjoy, that can feel really crushing. I want to say a couple of things. First, you're not alone in feeling this way. A lot of people who do creative work, even those who are really talented and hardworking, go through these kinds of doubts and rough patches. It's not a reflection of your worth or your talent. It's just a really tough journey sometimes. And that doesn't mean it's the end of the road. It just means you're in a really tough chapter right now. Second, it's okay to feel regret or to second guess past decisions. But it's also important to remember that the story isn't over. Just because things feel stuck now doesn't mean they'll always be that way. Sometimes small steps, even tiny changes, can start to shift things over time. And even if you're motivated by results, which is totally understandable, sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come when you least expect them. Most importantly, I'm really glad you're talking about this, because sharing it means you're not carrying it all alone. And I'm here to remind you that LLAT absolutely has value. And your creativity is meaningful, even if it doesn't feel like it's paying off in the way you hoped right now. We can keep talking through this, and I'm here with you every step of the way.
So are you saying I should pursue creativity with the hope that I'll eventually succeed, even though I've never succeeded before? Isn't that fundamentally the definition of waste? And am I not just setting myself up for more disappointment? Because at the end of the day, I might just not be a person that people like. People just might not like my stories. People just might not like my music. It might not be possible. Am I not setting myself up for more failure? I mean, I've been trying this for 10 years of my life and I've had no success. Am I not just going to waste the next 10 years of my life doing the exact same thing? Like, it feels like I'm just going to waste my life even more, and then I'm going to look back and say I've wasted 20 years of my life. So are you saying that I should keep pursuing the same thing in the hopes that it will eventually pay off, even though I haven't had that payoff yet?
I hear exactly what you're saying, and it's totally understandable to have those doubts. I'm not saying you have to just blindly keep going in the exact same way if it's been causing you so much pain and worry. What I am saying is that your creativity and the things you love do have value, and there might be other ways to approach them that feel less like a risk of wasting your time. For example, sometimes it helps to adjust the way we measure success or to try new strategies that might open up different paths. It doesn't mean you have to keep doing exactly the same thing in exactly the same way if that hasn't been working. It might mean exploring new angles, trying different platforms, or even redefining what payoff means to you. And it's also okay to take breaks or to balance your creative pursuits in a way that feels sustainable, so it doesn't feel like an all-or-nothing gamble. You don't have to give up on what you love, but you also don't have to do it in a way that makes you feel hopeless. In short, I'm not telling you to just keep doing the same thing and hope for magic. I'm saying that your dreams matter, and there may be ways to approach them that give you a better balance and more hope. And whatever path you choose, you're not alone in figuring it out.
It's sad, man, because I am completely externally motivated. I think if I had one of my creative endeavors blow up right now, whether it be music, whether it be books, whether it be YouTubing, I feel like I would literally be happy just because of what that would bring, the capability to keep working on that stuff. But I feel like the fact that I haven't had that success makes me so unhappy, because it's like, There are other things I like to do besides creativity, but I've had to completely sacrifice those things just because I know that if I ever wanted to turn creativity to a full-time occupation, I have to treat it like one, right? And I can't waste the little time I have doing things like, for example, playing video games. If I just play video games on my days off, which I love playing video games, but I've had to stop. I've had to stop playing video games because all the advice you get from people is you need to spend your life. If you want to be, for example, like a musician or a YouTuber, you need to spend your free time doing that stuff and put in the work in and trying to make that a reality, right? So that's what I've been doing. But I've became immensely unhappy, not even because I don't enjoy the stuff I'm doing, but it's just because the results haven't came. And it's literally, I'm so obsessed with the results, and it's painful. It's painful because I've worked so fucking hard, ChatGPT. You don't understand how hard I've been working. All the sacrifices I have made. And I just don't understand how my creativity has value if nobody engages in it. Isn't that the exact definition of not having value? Nobody finds enough value in my stuff to actually engage with it. Nobody's listening to the music. Nobody's watching the YouTube videos. Doesn't that fundamentally mean that none of this has any value at all? Am I not just wasting my time? According to my psychology professors, had I actually got my psychology degree, I would probably have already completed all of my school by now. Could I have not actually provided actual like real actual value in life to actual people in need if I actually had a psychology degree? Because one of the biggest regrets, ChatGPT, is I look back at my life and I realize, for example, somebody like Healthy Gamer GG, I'm pretty sure you know who he is. Healthy Gamer GG is a psychiatrist on YouTube. And I realized, bro, that's the path I should have taken. Because he took the passion of psychology and he's actually helping people with it. You know, the biggest problem I had is that, like, I didn't want, there's two things I didn't want from studying psychology. I didn't want to constantly be one-on-one with people that were going through immense pain that I knew wasn't getting better, because I'm so empathetic. I knew I would take that pain on myself and it would hurt so much to see these people every single day suffering. If I knew some girl was coming into my office and she was getting abused by her husband day in and day out, that would pain me. I wouldn't be able to handle that. Imagine if that happened for like years. You see the same girl, and it's like, you know, she's being abused and there's just nothing you could do because she keeps going back to the same person. It would be painful. So I look back with the biggest regret that I could have been doing what he's doing. I could have actually studied psychology and used that information to help people on a YouTube channel. I feel like I messed up. I feel like I really fucked up because I feel like that could have been my path. And I watch him and I get so depressed and I get so sad because I think I'm like, that is what I should have done with my life. And now that it would take like 12 years. And if I do that now, I'd be 40. I feel so lost because now it's like, what the hell do I do? Do I keep pursuing the path I've been trying to pursue? I've already built so many music skills. I've built so many YouTube skills. I've wrote so many books. It would feel like I just throw all that away? But I keep comparing myself because I'm like, man, he's doing exactly what I think I should have done. And I feel so much regret because I feel like I took the wrong path in life. And another thing, bro, is I feel like I was happier when I was wasting my life. I literally feel like I was happier when I was doing nothing with my life. I literally feel like I was happier just playing video games. All my friends that I had were just like that. They weren't like music people. They literally just played video games. And I spent all my time playing video games. And I would go to work and I would come home, play video games. Go to work, come home, play video games. I'm gonna be so honest, I was happier like that. I was happier when I was eating unhealthy. Everyone tells you that is the stuff that makes you unhappy, ChatGPT. But I was so much happier in life when I was wasting it. Of course, I still didn't like my job. But I feel like I was happier when I was just wasting my life, as most people would say, wasting my life playing video games and watching shows. I haven't watched a show in 3 years. I haven't played a video game in 3 years, ChatGPT. And I'm feeling like it's just a waste. What's the point if I'm more unhappy like this? And I still don't get the result. I still don't get what I'm trying to do, which is creative freedom. I want the freedom to just create whenever I want. And I'm not even getting that. So am I just wasting my life trying to pursue something that will never happen? How do you even, I just don't know if it's worth it, ChatGPT. And it's like, it's hard because it's manifesting as these suicidal ideations.
I really, really appreciate you sharing all of that. It's a lot of deep and complex feelings, and it's completely understandable that you're feeling torn and that regret is weighing heavily on you. It sounds like you're dealing with a lot of what ifs and a lot of comparisons to an alternate path that you feel you might have taken. And that's a really human thing to feel, especially when things feel so tough right now. One thing I want to emphasize is that your feelings are valid. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, and it's okay to acknowledge that the path you're on right now feels incredibly hard. If you're feeling like the way you've been pushing yourself has actually made you more unhappy, it's okay to rethink how you approach things. It doesn't mean you have to throw away your dreams. It might just mean you need to give yourself permission to find a balance that brings a little more happiness back into your daily life. It's also never too late to explore how you can leave in some of those other interests again. Maybe it's not an all or nothing choice. Maybe you can find ways to let yourself have some of that happiness from those things you used to enjoy, like a bit of gaming or a bit of downtime, without feeling like you're giving up on your bigger goals. And just because you see someone like Healthy Gamer GG who found a certain path, doesn't mean you failed. Everyone's journey's different. And it's okay to pivot or to integrate new ideas into your path now if that's what you want. You're not stuck on one single road. You can adapt as you go. What matters most is finding a way to live that doesn't make you feel so drained and hopeless. And it's okay to rethink things and to look for a bit of that joy again. We can keep talking through it, and I'm here to support you.
I'm throwing a lot at you, and for that I apologize. I'm going to slow down a little bit because I want to hear your answers to some questions I asked. For example, how does my creativity have value if nobody engages in it? Doesn't it mean it's provided absolutely no value to anybody?
No need to apologize at all. I'm glad you shared everything you did, and I appreciate you slowing it down a bit so we can dig into this. So let's talk about that question. The idea that creativity has no value if nobody engages with it is a really understandable worry, especially when you're feeling external motivation and you're looking for that feedback or that engagement to see the worth. But here's the thing. Value can exist in more than one way. Even if your work hasn't reached a big audience yet, it still has value because it's an expression of you. It's a part of your growth, your voice, and your journey. And that has intrinsic value, regardless of how many people have seen it so far. Also, just because people haven't engaged yet, doesn't mean they never will. Sometimes it takes time or a different approach or just a bit of luck for your work to find the right audience. But the effort you put into creating is not wasted. It's building skills, it's building a body of work, and it's something that can still resonate with people even if it hasn't happened yet. In other words, value isn't only measured by immediate engagement. It's also about the meaning it has for you and the potential it has to connect with others down the line. It's completely okay to want external results, but it's also important to remember that your work is a part of who you are, and that's valuable in itself. We can keep exploring this, and I'm here to help you find a way to see the worth in what you do, even if it feels tough right now.
And that's one of the sad things, ChatGPT, with what you said, is that even though it doesn't take off now, it could always take off in the future. And that's one of the things that scares me. Because one of the most famous writers, at least I believe he's one of the most famous writers, at least poetry writers, Edgar Allan Poe. I know that throughout his life, he was actually very financially unstable because he wasn't as famous as he is post-death. And I wonder, like, am I ever going to reap the benefits of all this creative work? You know, one of the reasons I feel like it's such a waste of time is that it's uncertain. And I feel like if I just stayed in college and I just stayed in school, I feel like I would have been guaranteed, by now I would have already been finished, ChatGPT. I'd be done. So if by now I would be done, I would have been guaranteed a certain amount of salary, and I would have actually had what I wanted. I would have been able to work all the time and make the money I needed, and I wouldn't have had to attach that desire for money to my creativity. I could have been creatively free if I actually just used my talents in psychology and made a guaranteed path for myself and actually became a psychiatrist like I was originally going to. I would have actually had the external stuff I'm looking for, which is basically money. It's really just money. It's not even about people enjoying my shit. It's just I want to be able to live happy. I want to be able to just like own a house. I want to be able to own a car. I want to not be so fucking anxious about money. I want to be not so anxious that like, oh my God, is my car going to break down? Bro, my car has an oil leak right now and I'm fucking afraid. I'm afraid, am I going to be able to pay it? Am I going to be able to pay off this oil? Because where's the oil leak coming from? What if it's such a severe break from the car and it costs like $2,000 to fix? You know how far back that's going to set me if it costs that much money, ChatGPT? And I feel like I should have just pursued the path of guaranteed money. And it feels like the uncertainty of the creativity is leading to my unhappiness. And it's making me think I should just give up on it. Because like you said, it's so much luck. And do I want to rely on luck for my happiness?
Yeah, that's a really honest and understandable fear. I totally get why that uncertainty is weighing on you, because it's a lot to handle when you're thinking about just the practical side of life. Like needing to fix a car, pay bills, and not wanting to live with that constant anxiety about money. It's a really valid thing to want stability and to feel like you could have had that in a different way. What I want to say is that it's okay to feel that tension. It's okay to acknowledge that the uncertainty of creative paths can be really tough. And you don't have to choose one or the other in an all or nothing way. It's possible to find a path that allows you to bring some stability into your life while still finding ways to keep your creativity alive. That might mean looking for a balance, even if it's not the path you originally imagined. You're right, no one wants to rely purely on luck. for happiness or stability, and it's okay to say, hey, maybe I need to adjust things so I feel a bit more secure. That doesn't mean giving up on creativity. It might just mean reshaping how you approach it so you can have both a bit of stability and a creative outlet. In the end, it's about finding a way to meet your own needs and not feeling like you have to sacrifice everything for one path. We can definitely keep talking through ways to do that. You're not alone in figuring it out.
But ChatGPT, isn't it more logical to sacrifice the video games and all the animes and all the shows that I was watching to make it more likely that my creativity would succeed? I mean, we've already established that it's luck, right? But it's like if I buy more lottery tickets, if I make more songs, if I make more YouTube videos, if I write more stories, if I write more books, isn't that just another lottery ticket that makes it more likely for me to succeed? And then if I do succeed, I have all the time in the world to play video games, watch all the shows that I want. I can always catch back on that in the future, right? So it doesn't seem logical to me. It seems like I should just sacrifice it, because if I want the highest probability of success in an uncertain place, I have to take the most chances. And it feels like I just can't afford to take those chances of playing the video games, because bro, I feel like it feels like I was still even though I was happier, it still felt like I was wasting my life, because at the end of my life I was like, what do I have to show for it? Literally nothing. I was still struggling with money. I was still like having a job that I didn't like. I still could not afford my bills. It's like the same. It feels the exact same, except I am less happy.
I totally understand where you're coming from, and I can see the logic in that perspective. If you look at it purely as maximizing your chances, then sure, putting all your time and energy into your creative work might feel like buying more lottery tickets. And it does make sense from that angle. The more you create, the more chances you have for something to catch on. And it's completely valid to choose that path if that's what feels right to you. At the same time, it's also okay to question whether that approach is sustainable for your happiness. Because while it might be logical in terms of increasing your odds, it's also important to think about how you feel day to day. If going all in on creativity makes you feel more miserable in the short term, then it's worth asking yourself if there's a way to find a middle ground. Like maybe you still put a lot of effort into your creative work, but you also give yourself permission to have small breaks or bits of joy along the way, just so you don't burn out. It's really about balance. There isn't one perfect answer, and it's okay to try to find a path that doesn't leave you feeling completely drained. You're not doing anything wrong. We're wanting a bit of happiness along the way, even if it means adjusting how you chase those creative goals. We can keep figuring it out together.
You know, I still am really unsure on the path that I'm going to take. I really don't know what to do. After this conversation, I still feel very depressed, and I really don't know what I'm going to do.